Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. This video will go up on Saturday, so this is my Saturday video. I sometimes like to think of special themes like this for a video because I feel like they tend to bring products out of the woodwork that aren't just purely like new all the time, you know what I mean? And this whole idea actually came from a certain new lip product that I've been trying. And as I put it on, I'm just thinking, gosh, this feels so good. Like the experience of putting it on, the feeling of it being freshly applied, that is something special. And I started looking around my makeup stash for other things that I kind of felt that way about, you know, where the sense of touch, the sensation of actually applying something feels really good. And I also think they all kind of amount to this low maintenance comfortableness on the skin that makes me think of the sweatpants of makeup, which is what I once referred to a certain lip product as. Are you with me on this? Do you know what we're talking about here? Of course, I just realized I have a canker sore in here. I think it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be a full face. So the first thing that I've already done, actually, I've put on a serum and a moisturizer, but I have an eye serum here. It's the Revolution 5% caffeine solution and hyaluronic acid. It's called a targeted under eye serum, and I have been using this, and I've, for a while, just been kind of blending it in with my fingers, just a tiny drop like under each eye. But if you really want to up the experience, use one of these like metal eye roller things. It's stainless steel, I'm pretty sure. It's by Real Techniques. And this one's called the Under Eye Reviver. It came from a little set that I reviewed quite some time ago. But my goodness, the cooling, the relaxing feeling of this just going around that entire eye area is so nice. And I like this because the ball actually doesn't roll, so you don't feel like it's collecting moisture and then getting it caught underneath. But you're gonna think, gosh, it feels like it's rolling because the glide is so seamless here, you know what I mean? So I run that around and then just kind of pat in, but that feels so dang good. Next up, I'm gonna move on to a face primer that I've always thought felt so nice on the skin, and it's the Mally Perfect Prep Poreless Primer. This used to be in a pretty big sized tub, and that was always the way I used it, but more recently when I tried a bunch of makeup from Kohl's, I got it in this pump style tube. And the texture of this primer is so smooth and nice. It's kind of like a pore reducing type of product, but it's ultra creamy, and it feels like it does give your skin a little extra hydration, not a ton. But the unusual thing, and I never really remembered experiencing this when I used it out of the tub, but every time I put this on, I feel the slightest bit of a cooling sensation. It's not like I'm keeping it over here in a mini fridge or anything. Like, it just, I don't know. It feels a little bit cooling. When I actually look at the surface of my skin after I've put it on, I think, yeah, it does seem kind of smoother. So that is totally a comfortable product, a feels good to apply product, but also your skin just feels great after it's on. Now, what about foundation? Is there any foundation that actually feels really good to put on your skin? Well, there might be some, you know, I could think of different formulas that I really enjoy, but truly, I think what gives the most satisfying, like, feel going across the skin is actually a stick foundation. Specifically this Revolution Fast Base stick. The glide of this stick across the skin feels amazing to me. It really deposits a good amount of product. You do end up with a full coverage look. I've definitely addressed the pros and cons of this in my foundation stick video because I'm not so sure this is a formula that's ideal for everyone. Like, you really need to set this stuff, but it gives a really skin-like look. But for the purposes of this video, it just feels awesome as you glide it on. So I twist my stick up. Oh, it's so creamy. I can't get over it. Gonna continue. Let's face it, there's something kind of fun about like drawing on your face with a jumbo stick. Then I can just take anything I want to blend that in. You could use a sponge, you could use any number of different brushes. I'm using the Sigma F84 right now, and this will establish some really nice coverage. So as far as stick foundations go, that's about the creamiest of the creamy. It's gonna be the easiest to blend out. It's gonna have the most glide across the skin. As I said, end result might be a little more richness or moisture on your skin than you necessarily need, just depending on skin type, but I do love the way that feels. It's a very easy product to work with. Best feeling concealer to apply. This isn't something I'm always reaching for, I gotta admit. But when I do think about a product that I really enjoy applying to the face, it's gotta be this. That Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, right? I have it in the neutralizer and I also have it in the brightener, and this is the brightener shade. It's a little bit pinky tone, but it's got this little like puffy spongy thing at the end, and there's something to me very enjoyable about putting that on. Dabbing it in on the skin, you can kind of use it to brighten anywhere on your face, really. Give a little extra highlight. I've always felt like the texture of this product was really good. You can get it in a number of skin tone shades as well, and I mean, it's got actual good coverage without feeling too thick anywhere. It's hard to say anything is universally liked in the makeup world, but I feel like a lot of people do tend to enjoy this product. So as you can see, I've dabbed it in under one eye. I do feel very brightened. It's easy to blend out with my brush here. It's not setting too quick. The whole experience of getting it worked into your skin is no problem, but ultimately what got this product into this video is the fact that it's got that little spongy thing and it's just kind of fun to put on. What also feels good is a warm cup of coffee on a chilly fall morning. We're on our second morning around here of days that actually feel really fall-like. Like we got a taste of it a while back and then it just got so hot for a while again. So nice warm cup of coffee, nothing wrong with that. Next up, we're gonna do some powder, and the comfort of this product more so lies a little bit in its function and the fact that I never feel like I have to over apply this. This is the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Powder. I know it has a cult following. It's just one of those amazing powders that does everything you would hope it could do and more. And I think my skin feels comfortable when it's not absolutely suffocated by powder. And the nice part about this is that a little goes a long way. So a small amount does the job. I can end up decreasing any amount of tacky texture that I might have, say, on the under eye or my T-zone. I can lock things in for better staying power. My skin ends up having a nice, comfortable smoothness that doesn't feel sticky, you know? And as I've said, with that Revolution stick in particular, I need to set that if I want to expect to have any decent staying power with it. But this powder, whenever I put it on, I don't feel like I'm going back again and again for more, you know? Once my brush kind of passes over one certain area, it's like, okay, I'm good. And I don't feel like I've caked my entire skin up with a whole big thick amount. So the little bit that I've tapped in here, as you saw, I used my e.l.f. small tapered brush around the targeted areas, like right around the nose and, you know, sides of the nose, under eye area. And now I'm gonna take my e.l.f. Complexion Brush, which is a little bit bigger, and I'm just gonna collect whatever was left in there and allow that to set the other, you know, large parts of my face, the larger planes. It's just a smoothness. It's like a natural smoothness, not a dryness, not a tackiness, just that nice middle ground, okay? For bronzer, I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't really come up with a bronzer that I thought felt good to put on. If you can think of a really good one, let me know. The one that I'm gonna talk about doesn't particularly feel bad, but I feel like using it today because I'm kind of just getting back into using this particular bronzer, and it's the Faux Tan from Bare Minerals. And I guess one part of the experience of putting this on that feels good is the fact that you get to move this little cap back and control the amount of product that's sifting out, and it's not always getting everywhere, and that's kind of a nice feeling. Sort of an abstract way here, but I like the tone of this bronzer, and I just use this e.l.f. Complexion Brush again. Tap into the cap, make sure you don't have too much product in the cap because it doesn't take a ton. But then I just kind of start working this around the hairline. And I was just playing around with this one lately and I thought, you know, I do really love that tone, whether I'm using Bare Minerals stuff or not. And I think that's something I need to keep in mind with my Bare Minerals stash, because I keep it all like stored together, right? And sometimes you get in a mode where it's like, okay, I'm not using Bare Minerals today, so I'm not gonna grab for those things. But it's like, you don't have to necessarily be wearing the original foundation all over your skin in order to take advantage of your different Bare Minerals blushes and bronzers and stuff like that. We all know that. So I can apply it a little lower on my cheek. I'm not like going for a hard contour here, but see how I get that little bit of, ooh, that looks so good. I love that. But the way I like to put this product on, I do think kind of falls into this sort of comfy, easy, not super fussy makeup look, because we're not doing a real chiseled out face. We're just utilizing that really nice tone in this product to get a little dimension on the skin. I would have had my makeup headband on today, but my hair feels like it's still drying from my shower, so I don't want to like get a bump in it. Why did I just call that a bump? It's not bump, it's bump. It's time for a blush pick here, and I have always thought that the ColourPop Super Shock blushes had a really nice texture, a really cool, unusual feeling. I remember some of the first ColourPop stuff I ever got was when Jamie Greenberg had her blush collection with them. It was like 2 blushes and a highlighter. They have kind of a creamy feel, but it's not like a full-on goopy cream. It's like a putty almost feeling texture that you can press your finger into. And this shade here is called Birthday Suit. I feel like it's a really nice casual blush color. It is a satin finish, and I just feel like it's very easy to wear. And I like the feeling of these blushes going on. You could apply them with a brush, maybe a synthetic brush. I'm sure I've used my e.l.f. small stipple brush or a Real Techniques brush here or there. But part of the fun is honestly getting your finger in there and feeling that, like I said, almost putty-ish texture and just blending that in on the skin. It feels really good. And as you can see, this is just a soft, easy blush color. It's somewhat buildable. I mean, I feel like I always, whenever I put this on, I end up going over the same area a couple of times. But I've always kind of been a build it up little by little type person, so it all kind of makes sense to me. But what do you think of this texture of blush? I could see some people not loving it, especially if you're hugely into traditional powder blushes, which I, for the most part, am. But if we're talking about feel, I think these feel undeniably really freaking cool. A highlight that I think feels amazing to apply, and I have talked about this recently and shown this before, but I'm kind of nuts about this little technique here, and it's using a Beauty Blender type sponge to apply this wet dry product here. This is the Peach Pearl highlight in the Too Faced Sugar Peach palette, and I just used this rounded edge of this sponge. You pick up a little bit of product, and it's so cool. Like, I love the glow that comes off of it. You don't need a lot of product, but it gives you just a profound glow. And then I'll go to my opposite side of the sponge, the clean side, and just kind of bounce over that to give it some blend. But I mean, I think blender sponges do truly feel great across the skin. If I wasn't so lazy about getting them dampened every day, I would probably use them a lot more for foundation, you know? But I do like the sensation, I like the experience, I like seeing this highlight translate in such a beautiful way. And it's just kind of fascinating how a powder can make the skin look so dewy and glossy like that. If you've got anything left, you know, you can kind of bounce it around and sort of have a little effect on the overall texture of your skin. But I'm really a fan of that product and that technique, and I think it feels good. Now I'm doing my brows, and my brows are the same old dang thing, everybody. It's the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil here, and I'm not really sure whether this purely falls into this category of feels good to put on makeup. It's just a step you gotta do, you know? And I don't particularly love doing brows. I wouldn't say it's like the step of makeup that I'm always waiting to do is my eyebrows. Not really. But when you think about it, this style of pencil, this is a middle of the road thickness of pencil. You know, they've got those really thicker ones that are formed into little like diamond and triangular shapes, and they're a lot thicker to put through your brows. And then you've got really, really skinny ones like a Brow Wiz or the NYX Micro Brow and stuff like that. And those are nice and very pinpointed, although depending on how much fill-in work you got to do, it could take a while. And this does tend to be a nice middle of the road, kind of easy pencil to work with because it's somewhere in the middle of those two thicknesses. And it is retractable. It does have the spoolie built in. It costs $2. So I find very little wrong with this product. So I just keep using it, and I've repurchased it several times over, and my little routine, as you've seen in a lot of videos, is to put that on and then use my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Boostin' Set, which is the tiniest little brush on God's green earth, and then you just take that through. And it gives a little tint. It also gives amazing hold, so it keeps everything kind of right where you want it to be. I do have an eye primer. I've been experimenting a little bit on and off with a different eye primer, and it is the Tarte Shape Tape Eye Primer. And you heard me talk about earlier about the creaminess of like putting on a stick foundation and how that feels nice going across the skin. And this is such a like not fussy, easy way to put on your eye primer when it comes from a stick like this. The color is great, and my other point with this is the fact that when you get this sort of tapped in or blended in to your eyelid, it's very neutralizing. That's where this gets a point up almost from just my typical eye primers that I use, because most of the time they don't do a lot of neutralizing. The Milani, the Urban Decay, maybe a little bit, but not much. And I am starting on this eye, like I've got a little vein. The older I get, I feel like the more it just wants to show through. And the cool thing about this is that it's just a perfect texture. It's not as thick as a lot of concealers might be, or as creamy, you know, but it really does give you coverage in that area. It's great under eyeshadow, but you can wear it on its own and just put on some mascara and have the easiest just boom, go with it look. Another thing that I've done with this, I'm not sure if this is really advised, but it does work. You can take this pencil and you can put it in your waterline as well for more brightness there. I'm just saying, you know how I like to do that kind of a step, and it hasn't irritated my eyes yet, so I guess it's okay. Thinking about eyeshadow for this video, I kept coming back to the idea that, you know, eyeshadow is eyeshadow. It is what it is. There's not gonna be one kind that makes it a completely different experience from another kind, unless you're reaching out to a specifically different format, like certain kinds of creams or liquid eyeshadows or things like that. And there are some of those different formats that I think feel good to put on, but are they as long wearing as I want them to be? Do they sort of fit into this foolproof, easy, simple theme that I'm trying to build here as well? And so I think for a lot of people in a lot of situations, an eyeshadow that feels good to put on is something where you feel like you've got some control over the process, you don't feel too overwhelmed, the shadow is easy to apply, and it just doesn't require a lot of fuss. And I chose one of my Milani Everyday Eyes compacts. I specifically chose Earthy Elements because I felt like nothing in this palette went too dark. I think things are dark enough to give you a little contrast where you want it. They're pigmented, but they're not off the wall, like hard to control. And I'm gonna do a full look applying this with the applicator included, which is a double-ended brush, and it does a great job. There's seriously nothing wrong with this brush. It feels great to put the product on with. If you want a cooler option, another one I love is called Must Have Naturals. Let me pop it open. It does contain a black, so it can go potentially much darker if you want it to. But this is just a product here, an amount of colors I just feel very comfortable with, and I think it makes a great fall look as well. You've got sort of a dome crease brush, and then on the other end we have kind of a flat brush. See how I turn it sideways? It's got a little taper, so it is going to be able to, you know, go into your pan and pick up some product like that, but flat enough to sort of pack something on if you want to. So what I'm going to do first is take that domed side and go into this little like terracotta looking shade. I'm just gonna blend that here right into my crease. And I think there is something so special about a compact that contains an actually usable brush that you can use to get the entire look. I think Anastasia eyeshadow palettes always contain really nice brushes in there. I tend to really like what they offer. One problem though is that the shadows are a little bit harder to control in that, so I feel like I need to pull in certain brushes of my own to get a full look. Their brushes can contribute to helping me with that look, but like it takes a little more work. So this is just this light kind of warm brown, easily in my crease. If you want to intensify that warmth a little bit, you could take just a splash of the orange. There's a really nice orange in here, kind of a pumpkin-y orange, and you could add that in there as well. I'm just using this brush in the manner I would use like my Sigma E25, basically. It's crazy how it actually works. And just a speck of that orangey shadow, guys. It's all it takes. Then for a highlight, I'm going to actually go to the more flat side. I think I'll use this color right over here and just get a little bit of that going right up under my brow. It's pretty shimmery. I'm going to do a little bit of this peachy shade, I think, here across the lid. This is a bit more of like a satin finish. Are we going for a complex look here? No. We're just going for something easy, comfortable, feels good to put on, low stress. Just a nice little eyeshadow look here. Then for my outer corner, I'm gonna go to this deepest shade here. Now it does have some shimmer. It's kind of a rich shimmery brown. And you can just dab into that again with the flat side. And I like to dab that a little bit on my outermost corner. Maybe get it a little into the crease if you want. But I think Milani did a great job with these smaller palettes. And I mean, I like their little bit larger palettes too, you know, their $20-ish price range palettes. But if we're going for the ultimate ease, I mean, this is great. I mean, would Tyler have not had a really easy time when he did my makeup if he just had this kind of color scheme to go for? I think a smaller palette with fewer options definitely has its place. Now, here's what you can do if you want a little bit of smudgy liner on the lower lash line. Just take that flat brush, point it directly down into one of the products. I'm using this shade right here, and you can just kind of give that a little smudgeroo on the lower lash line. How about that? Pretty nifty, right, for one brush? So there's your simple, very basic warm fall eye. And then if we're talking eyeliners that I think are comfortable, easy, feel good to put on, I've got to go with my Renaissance Flick from Revolution. This thing, the feel in the hand, I've mentioned this many times before, but see how it gets wider, like thicker in the middle? There is something about holding it, and that's where your primary grip is going, is right in that center part. When you have that area to grip onto, it just goes across so much better. And then the tip is great. It's nice and smooth and juicy. And as far as liquid liners go, I mean, we could all probably admit that liquid liner is not the most low maintenance, easy thing to work with on the eyes, but this makes easier work of the process. And today I'm not going to do any major wing. I'm just going to keep it kind of confined to my actual lash line here. Next up, I'm going to curl my lashes. My go-to lash curler is always this Tweezerman ProCurl. It's comfortable for me, it feels good to me because it fits my lash line so well. I never have any little like pulling from one certain end of my lash line or the other. Like, it just seems to come in contact really well with the whole eye. And supposedly this ProCurl is specially suited to round eyes. And here's my criteria for a mascara that feels good to apply. It's got to build up quickly, not something that I'm slaving over and continually putting coat after coat on, and instead of looking better, it's actually starting to look worse and everything's all clumping together. That is not my good situation. I need something to build up fast, and there are definitely several that come under that heading. I love the IT Cosmetics Superhero for that reason. I love L'Oreal's Lash Paradise for that reason, although I am kind of running low on my current tube. And another one that's sort of in that family is this NARS Climax. Sorry, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Sneeze now is your only chance to come out because I am about to put mascara on. But I really get so much satisfaction out of a mascara that as soon as that brush kind of comes in contact with your eye, you're seeing a lot of lashes. You're not going back for tons and tons of coatings. You know, it's just satisfying you in an instant. And so this is one of those mascaras for me. Until you get a little fleck of it on your eyelid, then it makes you kind of angry at the mascara. Operator error, sorry. Okay, I'm just popping a little bit of my CoverGirl Clump Crusher water resistant on the lower lashes just because I really want something that I know will stay there. Now, I wasn't really planning to do lashes for this look, but yet I feel that knowing what a comfortable lash is really valuable information, because that can be the sole part of a makeup look that is uncomfortable and can continue to feel off and bug you for a long, long time during your day. So in my opinion, the most comfortable, weightless, feels like nothing lash out there is the Salon Perfect 110s. Does Ardell make this exact same style? I feel like they probably do. But these are very lightweight, they're very easy, they blend in with your natural lashes, just the appearance of them, very, very naturally. The thing you want to keep in mind with the 110s though is the length of the strip from left to right, because that can be a little long. For example, I'm going to want to trim a little bit, and you generally want to trim from the outside because usually the inside is specially tapered to hang out with these little bitty lashes in here. So that's your responsibility with these, is to shorten them up and make sure that they will fit comfortably on your lash line. But once you do, I assure you, these will be your friend. These will feel absolutely weightless on. So I put my glue on. I love a wand applicator glue, as you know. Revlon Precision Lash Glue had been a huge favorite for the longest time. Just simply can't find that anymore. So I end up going for Kiss or whatever brand has this style of glue. Now you let that get tacky, drink some coffee. Sorry, I just started popping those on, sort of forgetting that I was on camera there for a second, but you can't feel a thing, especially when you've got them trimmed to the proper length so they're not like poking your tear duct or anything, but they're just a super lightweight, easy lash. I of course like to finish off with just a light coat of mascara on top, but I feel like those are just a fantastic natural lash. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and then I'll join you back here for lips. All right, everybody, we're nearly done here. I've got my other set of lashes on, very natural, very lightweight lash, and now I wanna talk about the lip product that, as I said in the beginning, spurred on this whole idea. And it's from Buxom, and it's called the Powerful Plump Lip Balm Kit. This kit says it contains 4 mini balms. It comes in a box like this. It was $29. I got it on Sephora. It also comes with a little eye mask here if you want to do that. But here's 3 of the 4 balms. Here's the other one, the one I'll be wearing today. And look at how much product is in this mini, okay? I guess a full size is massive of this stuff. I haven't even seen one in person. But I love these. I love this rounded tip. I love the smoothness of them going on. The cooling sensation in all of these is really, really great. And it kind of reminds me of just a slightly toned down minty tingle from the Buxom lip glosses or lip polishes. I love the thickness and moisturization of them on my lips. I love the different tints, the colors that they come in. So the one that I'll be using for this look is called Flushed, and it's kind of a berry. It looks very dark here, as you can see in the stick. It's gonna be a little bit softer as I put it on. But the ease with which they go on, there's no shimmer in any of these shades, so it's just like pure color, but a very low maintenance effect and a really nice creaminess and just that little bit of a cooling sensation. I mean, if you don't like any kind of minty tingle, that might be a problem for you, but I love it. I feel like it's a softer, more subtle cooling feel than their glosses for sure. So this shade is called Flush, and I love that berry. I like a berry with sort of a warm type eye like this, but I tried on the other 3 for you. One is called Big O, and this one looks clear, but it gives you that little bit of a pinky stain. If you've ever tried the IT Cosmetics Je ne sais quoi lip products, there's a little staining element to that. And I do notice that with all of these to some degree. So you see that one go a little bit pinky. The one that I raised my eyebrow at a bit is this next one called Glowing, because in the tube it looks downright neutral, but this changes to like a medium pink on the lips, I'd call it. A little bit deeper than the first one, but it doesn't stay true to that color that you're seeing on the stick. And I wish there was one in this lineup that would stay in a bit more of a neutral lane. So that's the one downside. But the red called Fiery, I absolutely love. It's a really warm red. I wore this not too long ago in another look, and I just thought, boom, it just set the look on fire. I love that. And then of course the one I ended up choosing for this video is a great fall berry. Everybody needs a shade like this, and if you want the most comfortable way to wear it possible, I say get you one of these. But for 29 bucks, I think this kit is an amazing deal because these seem to be like the size of a full-size lipstick. But for this product, apparently they're a mini size. Okay guys, so I'm all ready now. I've got my thermal on, I've got my coffee. I'm gonna be going with Belle today on her first field trip, so to speak. I mean, they're all preschoolers and the parents have to be there and take them there in their own cars. But instead of just going to school, it's a fun thing called Safety Day at another location, and I am so excited to get to be there with her for that. So yay! As I said, it's finally feeling a little bit like fall outside, so I hope you guys are having a great fall so far, and keep the video requests coming. Any great ideas that you have, let me know in the comments section. Any products that you want to see reviewed from holiday collections. I've had a lot of requests for Too Faced and Tarte, and I do have those, but if you got anything else beyond that, definitely let me know, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!